Good evening and welcome. This is Whole and Beautiful. I am Angela Oliphant, your host, and I am so glad that you all have joined me again tonight for another night of information, revelation, and change. It's going to be another great night as always. Um, I want to just go over some things with you all. I'm working on some things like in my mind and writing some things down there, different things that I want to do, and that the things that I want to continue to do is my couples conversations, my mentoring moments, and all of those like fun segments. I want to bring them in to you. So if you know someone that would like to be a part of couples conversations, or you know a couple you said they would be good for that, then let me know. Send me an email, wholebeautiful@gmail.com, and I will try my best to get them on the show. If you know of a man that is mentoring other young men and being active in their community and making an impact in others' lives, let me know. I would love to sit down, talk with them as a part of my mentoring moments segment, and just to give a male's point of view of what they're talking about. Good evening, Linda. How are you doing tonight? I am here and I'm ready to share with you all on tonight. Like I said, it's going to be another phenomenal night. I am so excited. Hi, Miss A. How are you? Thank you for joining tonight. It's great to be back and to be live. I've been playing some replays. It's been some different things that's been going on. It's been some different things that's been happening. But I am so glad that the month of November, this first Friday in November, I am back here to share with you all and to be a part of your evening. And I'm excited about it. Um, like I said, send me an email, wholebeautiful@gmail.com. Let me know what you're thinking about the show. Let me know that you're out there and that you're listening. Because like the two people that just showed up now, I know they're out there because they said something. And I know some of you all are listening and you don't say one word, you just listen every week. And I am grateful for you. I am grateful for all of my listeners, all the people that stop and watch on Fridays at 7. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for chiming in, for those that chime in and speak and say hey and talk to me. I really appreciate you being out there on tonight and really listening to the different things that I bring to you. It's an honor, it's a privilege for people to just listen to what you're saying, because a lot of times people are like, I don't want no parts of that. But you all take the time out of your day for about 30 to 40 minutes to listen to me talk to you, or even listen to me talk to somebody else about a particular subject. So I am grateful that you're out there. I'm grateful that you're listening. And I so appreciate every listener, every person that's watching. So remember to like, to comment, to share this broadcast with somebody else. Just don't keep it to yourself. Let somebody else know that Whole and Beautiful is on, that I'm here to share another good word with them on tonight. Some good things. I want to get that information to you so it'll bring about a revelation, and then it can bring about change in your life. Tonight, what I want to talk to you about is that this month, the whole month of November, is Family Literacy Month. And I was like, oh, that's good. That's good, because what? I love to read. I love to read a good book, and I like to hold, like I told y'all before, I love to hold the book in my hand. I like to have that book in my hand where I can sit down and cuddle up with like a little blanket and sit and just read, because every book takes you on this adventure. Some books give you instruction, some books give you this like escape where you're out, and you're in. It's like I'm literally in the book and I'm paying attention. And the other books that I read are like movies to me. It's like I'm watching a movie, and whenever I have to stop reading, it's like, oh, I got to get back to that. It's like back in the day when you didn't binge watch, you could only watch up until the point they gave it to you, and then you had to wait till next week to find out what happened. Those were the days, and you'd be like, oh, I can't wait till next Thursday when this comes back on. So that I can find out what happened. With me, with some of my books, they are like that for me. I'm sitting and I'm reading, and then when it's time for me to go back in for my lunch at work, or I'm getting sleepy and I got to go to bed, I'm like trying to read that next page because I'm trying to see what's going to happen. And I know a lot of people say, well, you can just flip and you can go into the back of the book and find out. I love sitting there reading and finding it out as I go. I know I could flip in the book and find out what happened, but I want to find out everything leading up to that point. So this month is Family Literacy Month, and literacy, I wanted to share with you, is just the ability to read and to write. It's competence in a specific or specified area. It's the ability to speak, to write, to listen in a way that lets us communicate effectively. So you're communicating effectively. There's family literacy. So, and I like they said Family Literacy Month. So what my challenge is, and I usually give this at the end, guys, but I'm gonna tell y'all this now. What my challenge is to you is to read a book for yourself, or get with a child and read a book to a child, or go, find somebody that you can sit and you can read to, that you can share what you've written with them. Those of us who have written books, share what you've written with somebody else. Sit down, get a good book and share with a friend. Be like, hey, we're gonna read this book together. So I'm gonna read, you're gonna read, we're gonna get together, we're gonna talk about this book. Do some different things during this month where it will encourage the young person in your life to read, or even the older person to read. I've always heard this all my life. Reading is fundamental. You need to be able to read, and I enjoy it to the fullest. I enjoy it because it's like it activates here when I am reading a book. I have been so engulfed in a book where somebody is calling me and saying, hey, Angie, and they talking to me, and I heard absolutely nothing that they said. Why? Because I was so engulfed in my book. I was like in the book and taking part in the book. And reading is essential. I think about the times where people of color and some people who may not have had as much melanin as I have, they were in a day where they did not learn how to read, where it was like it was forbidden for you to know how to read a book, how to go through and how to read. I remember, and I told y'all this before, I remember sitting at my grandmother's house and reading the Bible to her. She would say, read the Bible to me. And I would sit. I mean, I didn't think, can she read everything that's in here? I didn't think about that. All I knew was she told me to read, and I would sit down and I would read the Bible. And I was like, Grandma, where you want me to read from? What passage of scripture you want me to read? And she said, baby, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. She said, the whole book is good. And I remember that to this day. And I remember sitting and reading to her. And as I would read the Bible to her, she would just begin to worship the Lord. And she would just begin to pray. And she'd be praising the Lord. And I was like, what's she doing? I'm just reading these words. But those words were powerful. And those words just stirred her spirit. Those words connected with her. And she began to praise God and worship God, all because I was reading words off of a page. And I wasn't sitting there like a preacher would read the word. I mean, I was young. I was, oh man, probably like what, 12? Maybe, maybe like 12 or 13, maybe. But I was reading to her, and she just enjoyed me sitting there just reading to her. So you may find that person that maybe in an assisted living facility, maybe in a nursing home, maybe it was somebody who loved to read all the time and now they don't have that ability to sit and read those books like they used to, but they still love it. They have audio books now where you can listen, and they've been around a long time. But some people love to hear the author read the book to them because it brings it to life. It's a whole nother step and a whole nother direction when you listen to the audiobooks. I have to get an audiobook and listen because I have not done that yet. I would like to have the book, like I said, in my hand where I can hold it and I can read it myself. But to hear it in the author's voice and to see, what they were actually feeling during that time, if it's a book about their life or even something that they've written, is yes, it is. The word is alive and it's living. Yes. At any time, reading to someone is precious. Yes, it is. I love it, guys. I love it. It is. It's precious time spent, and the word is alive. And when you read it, it should stir your spirit. It should cause you to begin to worship. It should cause you to begin to think about all these things that God has done for me. And the word is alive. And to be able to sit down and read to somebody, oh, it's awesome. I was able to read to her, and then I worked as a candy striper. Greetings. Greetings to Toronto, Canada. Thank you for chiming in and thank you for showing up on tonight. I remember when I was a candy striper, I was working at a nursing home and I would sit and I would read to some of the residents that were there. I would go in and sometimes he was just reading the paper because this older gentleman, he would love to read his paper, but he got to the point where he couldn't read his paper. So I would sit down and I would read his paper to him and tell him what was going on. He wanted to know what was happening. He didn't just want to see the news on TV. He wanted to read the paper. So I would read the paper to him. And then sometimes I would read to some of the other residents that lived there and just talk to them and read certain things. And I had a friend there, and my friend, I loved my friend Joe. She was there in that nursing home, and sometimes I would go in to go see her. Some days she had good days, some days she had not so good days. And I remember going in one day and she was not having a good day. And I stood there at the door and I asked her, I was like, how you doing today? Because she was laying in the bed, and normally she's not in the bed when I would get there. She would be sitting up and she would be in her wheelchair, but that day she was not. And she said, Andrew, it's not a good day. It's just not a good day. And I said, well, I'm not going to stay. I'm going to let you have your time. I'll leave. But can I read you something before I leave? And she said, sure, go ahead. And it was a poem that I had picked up, and I can't remember everything that was said in the poem, but it was dealing with what she was dealing with at the moment. And I read that to her, and she began to cry, and she said, thank you. I needed those words today. And we don't realize sometimes how powerful words are. And when you have that written word, and it's just awesome the way that God left us the Bible. It's the written word. That written word can change your life. Those pages, those words on the pages can change your life. It's just like a book that somebody else has written. You go and you read their books and you find out about their lives. You find out about, it may be a fictional story, but that story may touch your heart in such a way that it causes you to laugh, that it may cause you to cry, that it may just cause you to be inspired and to push forward in your life. And these could be characters that are not like actual people. It's just characters from a book, but they're powerful. That's why you see movies and you see television programs and you see all these different things, because people will go and they'll watch this stuff over and over and over again. They can tell you verbatim sometimes what these shows are going to say, and it's like they're watching it for the first time. Why? They love the story, they love the words, they love the what it represented. It's like certain things people see and they be like, I'm gonna go back and watch it again. And it's just like that with some books. You read the book, and after you read it, you be like, I need to go back through this book again. I need to read it again. I need to go back and look at this again. And there's some books that you do that with, and just like the Bible, you can read it, and every single time you read, there is something new there. And you're like, I didn't see that before. And now you're looking at something that you have looked at for years, and now you're seeing something different. And it's the same way when you read a book. So I'm encouraging you to sit down this weekend, read a book, read something to somebody else. Bring in a child that's just learning to read. Let them read to you, and then you read to them. Y'all read a book together. Start doing some things where you will begin to just share that with somebody else. And it's so powerful when you think about the fact that some people don't know how to read. They have not learned how to read. And some people feel so ashamed that certain things they don't know how to read. It's like, don't be ashamed about it. Go out here, learn what you need to learn so that you can read a book. It's powerful to read a book. And if you're at that point in your life right now where you're like, I can't read like I used to, and I can't read all these different things. If somebody offers to read to you, allow them to do that, because it blesses you and it blesses them to be able to share that with you. One of the things that you can do this weekend, if you choose to do, is to visit your local library. Go to the library. The libraries are changing from what they used to be. I haven't been in a minute, but I was like, that was my favorite place to go, was to the library. It was just so many books. And I love being in the library. I love bookstores. I could stay in there forever, just walking around, looking at the books. I might not come out of there with a book, but I love to go around and look at the different titles and see the smell of the book. All of that is just awesome for me. But visit your local library. You never know the things that they have going on. When my children were younger, that's where we went. When they had the festivals and different things at the library, we were there. We were there for story time. We were there to when they had, like I said, when they had the festivals and stuff there, when they had different things that was going on, I would make sure that they were at the library so that they could go in and they could check out a book. They could go, they could check out their book, they could bring their book home, they could look at it, they could read it. And I wanted them to develop a love for books, just like I had. I can't say that they all did. I think one has, but they still don't. It's in a different way. It's in a different way than the way I looked at a book. But I love books, so I wanted them to go. So if you have the opportunity, go to your local library this weekend. Go next week. Go sometime this month and check out a book. Get a library card. There's so much that they offer just at the library that you can become a part of, and that you can learn some different things. It'll be awesome. Check out your local library. Let me know what you found out when you went to your library. If you go in, you will see they have a list of things that they do. They have this whole list of things that they do throughout the year, throughout the month. They have things that are lined up. I went to a book signing that was at the library. I had an awesome time, met some phenomenal authors. I was just so excited about that. So go out there, check out your local library this weekend. You can also join or participate in a book club. How many of you are a part of a book club where you can go in and you all have a group and you're reading that one book and you get together so you can discuss the book? I think that's awesome. I love doing that too. I have had the idea to do that. I just haven't followed through on it yet. It's so many things that be going on, and you're like, "Ooh, where would I fit in the book club?" But a book club is great because not only do you get to read the book, but then you get to sit down and talk to other people about the book, because what you get out of it is not what the other person gets out of it. So you're able to discuss it back and forth and find out what were their thoughts about it, how were they walking through the book, and then you see how you were walking through the book. Same way, guys, with the Bible. Even if you get the Bible and you say, okay, we're going to read this book of the Bible right here, or we're going to read this particular chapter, then we're going to get together and we're going to talk about it. It's the same thing, because what I may get out of it, you may get something totally different. You may get something that I didn't even think about. And it's the joy of being able to sit and to discuss it, to talk about it, and to learn about it, and to be able to even go back and write about it, to get out a notebook and write down the things that you've learned. We talk about journaling a lot of times. Sit down and write what you have read. I read this and this is what I got out of it. This is my takeaway from it. This is what I learned. This is what I'm applying to my life because I read this one book. It changed the way that I looked at things. It changed the way that I thought about something. And that's what the books are out there doing when you will sit down and you'll read them. And you can't just, skim over and be like, But if you go in and you begin to read, it's awesome. It is awesome. The next thing that I want you all to try to do during this literacy month is try reading in a different format. If you used to like the printed books, then go and try like the audio books. Just like I said earlier, I have always did the printed book, always had to have a book in my hand. So I want to experience an audio book. So anybody out there know any good audio books that would be like, oh, Angela, you need to listen to that. That's a good Audible book. I am open for suggestions. I want it to be a good book though, guys, but it's like an audio book. Which audio book should I choose to read during this month? I'm gonna go and I want to start listening to an audio book because that's something I've never done. So that's one challenge for myself that I'm going to do sometime during this month, because they have them where you can download them on your tablets, on your laptops. People have it on their phone. They have their Kindles. They have all their electronic devices and stuff that's out there that you can listen to a book. So if you know any books out that you say that's a good one, get that one, then let me know and I will check it out, because I want to get a good audio book. So that's one thing. And then maybe try to attend a book festival. They have book festivals and book fairs and different book things that are going on in your community. Find out when those things are happening. Go in, see what's going on with it, and participate in it. That's something new to do. Go out and participate in it. They have in some of the communities, they have like a big box that they make look like a library, but they have it sitting in certain communities where they put books. People take the books out, they read the books, they put the books back for somebody else to read, or people put books that they no longer are reading, or they don't want to throw the books away. They put them in that particular cabinet thing in the community. People come by and they get a book, they read it, they take it, they stick it back in there, and it's like it's just a gift that keeps on giving, because everybody gets to go and read the book. I remember books to this day where they were really good during my childhood, like the Boxcar Children was one book, and Amelia Bedelia was another book, and Are You There, God? Is Me, Margaret was another book. It's just those books like stick out to you, and it's just awesome to go back and say, oh, I remember that. I remember reading that. I remember what happened in the story. I remember just different books that change your life, or different books that just were fun, fun to read. So that's what we want to do during this month of literacy. We want to make sure that we're reading. We want to make sure that we're writing. We want to make sure that we're sharing the gift of words with somebody else. Share it with somebody else, because you got the gift of words. You maybe want to create a book exchange in your neighborhood, like the one I was talking about, where you exchanging books. You give your a friend a book and say, hey, read this, and they giving you one of the books that they read. Hey, read this, and we're going to come back and we're going to discuss it. We're going to swap out books and learn about different things from different people. Books have so much in them, and some of the books will draw you in, others you be like, not so much. But it all depends on your personality, because you can find a book that you like, though. And some people don't like to read. They really don't. But I'm challenging you to read this weekend. Read during this month. If you just take this month and say, you know what, I'm going to read. Every day I'm going to read something. I'm going to sit down and read something from this particular book, or I'm going to read something that's going to give me instruction. You can even read things that are your interest. Some people are interested in finances and how they work and how I'm going to work my money. So give me books about finances. Some people want to know about relationships. So there are books out there about relationships and friendships. There are books out there about marriage. If you name a topic, there is a book out there for you. It's just a matter of whether you find it or not. But whatever topic you name, you can find a book on it. So go out and find you a book on a subject that you love and find out more about that subject that you love. You can donate books. You can donate books to different reading programs that may be a part of a school, that may be something that they're doing at the school where they're taking in books. Sometimes even at the library, you can go and donate books, and they give books away also. They'll have a day where you can come out, and the books that they're no longer going to be putting on the shelves, they're giving them away. So find an area where you can maybe donate some of your books. If you're like me, you have a lot of books. And if you read them and you're not going to be reading them anymore, or you're not going to go back and use them as reference tools, and you want to give a book, then give a book. Donate it to somebody else. Because you want to do what? Share the joy of reading. Share it with somebody and let them know it is a joy to read. When you see that child who is learning words, they begin to learn the words, and then they begin to read, and you see like the light bulb go on. You see the joy that comes in their face because they're able to read something. And then they go around reading everything. So then you have to be like, let me move this out your way. Because they're trying to read every single thing that they see. And you're like, okay, everything you can't read, but they get so excited about it. And it's a joy when they put those words together, and they put those letters, and all those letters come together and they form a word, and they're able to read the words, and then the words become stories, and it's amazing. Because I thought about it today. I was thinking about that today. What if some of the stories that my granddad told, or that my grandmama told us when we were younger, what if we had the ability, thinking about it then, to record it and to be able to transcribe it now, to begin to write it out, the stories that they told about the family, the stories that they told about different things that happened, and we can go back and laugh about it, because we got that story right there, because those stories are just amazing. And sometimes we think, well, that's just family stuff. And they told those stories, years and years ago. But I thought about it just today. I was like, what if we were able to like record them? What if we sat down and recorded their storytelling, what they said, and then was able to transcribe it and write it and have it in a book? It ain't that you got to sell the book to the world, but you could have the book for your family. What about doing some of that? Some of the stories that you tell your children, or some of the stories that you are sharing with them, they have passed down from generation to generation to generation. Why not transcribe it, write it out, and share with them? It could be your family story time where you could tell some of those stories, or you can write down some of the things happened when you were a child and be able to share that with your family. It'd be your own little book, that you could share with your family, and they could share it with their children, and they can share it with their children. It's like, because that book, long after that person is gone, that book will still be there. Those words will still be there, and they will have great importance and just great, oh man, it's like comfort in it, to say, they wrote these words, and this was my grandmother's words, or these were my great great grandmother's words, or my great great granddad's words, and this is what they told us when we were younger. I think that is awesome to be able to pass that down to somebody else, because sometimes we lose those stories, we lose those ideas that they had, and those things that they said. We lose it sometimes when we get older, and it's good to go ahead and write those things down so that they can be passed down to the next generation. um Write a note. We have lost literacy is not just reading, it's writing. So why not write a note to someone? Why not send a note through the mail? I know we don't do it anymore because people can text people. You can call them. You send them a little text and say, hey, this, that, or the other. But you know something? It is something about getting something in the mail. To go out and get a card from somebody sent you a card, or somebody sent you, or how are you, or thank you, or something, and they send it in the mail. You're not expecting it. You go out and you're like, oh, they thought about me. They could have sent you that same thing through a text. But for me, it's a big deal when it comes through the mail. I have a friend that we've been friends over 30 years. And every now and then we'll send each other something in the mail, and it's amazing, and it's exciting to get those little boxes in the mail, or those little cards, just to say, I was thinking about you today. And I could have talked to her like the day before, didn't even know anything was coming, and go to the mail the next day and be like, oh, she sent me this. So write a note this weekend. Write it to somebody who may need that note. You never know. We have to be always listening. You always have an assignment. You always have something. Listen. That person that you've been thinking about, that person that you've been like, I wonder how they doing. And you like, oh, I'll just text them. And even if you do go ahead and text them real quick, why don't you sit down and write out a little note, send it in the mail, drop it off at their house, even if they live closer, drop it off. Even if it's a person in your own house, write them a little note, leave it on a table, or leave it in a room where you know that they go and they're going to pick it up. Leave it stuck to the refrigerator and say, hey, this is for you. You would be amazed how little things like that will literally change somebody's life. All because you decided to write a note. All because you decided to leave something for them. and let them know that you care about them. Those little things, like leaving notes in somebody's car. You go out, you put a little note in their car, you put a little note on their car, and let them know, hey, everything gonna be okay, or hey, I was thinking about you today, how you doing? Just small things. It doesn't have to be a long, like 10-page letter. It just has to be a little something to say, hey, I was thinking about you. Hey, I love you. If nobody else has told you that you're loved today, I'm telling you that you're loved. I'm telling you that you're appreciated. I'm telling you that I thought about you today. Those things go a long way. And me, I love a good letter. I have letters my friend wrote to me from years ago, and I just can't throw them away. I keep them, and I'm like, sometimes I'll go through them, and I'll pull them out, and I was like, oh, I remember what was happening when she wrote me this letter. I remember what was happening in my life. Oh man, this is just awesome. And to this day, over 30 years later, I can pull out one of her letters, and I'll sit and I'll read it sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, I remember this. Oh, that was just so good that she wrote me that letter. Because I just can't throw them away. Some people read their letters, they may throw them out. I don't throw mine away. I keep mine. So if you're like me, I love a good note. I love a good letter. And when you have read with your with that child this weekend, or that person this weekend, or you go sometime during this month and you read with somebody, get back with them and discuss what you read. Like we talked about earlier, talk about it. See what they got from it. See what you get from it. See how it flows, and be like, oh, I didn't look at it that way. Maybe I'll look at it another way. I have different set of eyes when I go back in and look at it the next time. So always go back and discuss what you read. I love reading a book and then being able to go and talk to somebody else about the book that I read and be like, hey, did you see that part? Did you see that? It's just, it does my heart good. So the main thing that we're talking about this month, that I'm going to be sharing with you this month, is read, write, communicate. Read some things, write some things down, communicate that stuff to other people, communicate it to yourself. Did I really understand? Well, this is what I got from this book. Get you like a journal where you write in your journal about the books that you read. And say, you know what? This is the book that I read on this date. I started here. I finished here. This is what I got from this book. You would be amazed at things that you picked up, that you've learned from just sitting down there. And I'm not saying that it has to be a 300 and 400 page book. No. You can read simple books. And simple books won't take you that long to read, but they are good books. One book that I'm recommending, because I'm be recommending all kind of books this month. I'm going to recommend some books for y'all to read, so y'all have to have y'all pencil, y'all paper out ready, or y'all have to go back and listen. But one of the books that I recommend that you read is this one right here. This book is Masters of the Mess by Agela Oliphant. If y'all remember on one of her shows, When Life Speaks, she talked about this book and they had a discussion about this book. This book is a great discussion book. It's a great book for you to sit down, read it. And what I told y'all, it's not a long book. It is not this big drawn out book that lasts 400 and 500 pages. No. But this book is a good book to discuss. It's a good book to sit down and to read. And if you want this book and you say, hey, Masters of the Mask, I need that book, send me an email, wholebeautiful@gmail.com, and we will get you in contact with the author of the book and get you a book. How about that? That is a good book to read. Another good book for couples, because I told y'all I have couples conversations, and this one is Bridging the Gap by Dana Fuller. And if you have been watching my show, the Fullers have been on my show several times. They have talked about this book. They talked about Bridging the Gap. This is a great devotional for couples. Even if you are not married, but you are saying, I'm thinking about getting married, get this book. Even if you're not married and you're in relationships or you're in friendships, get this book, Bridging the Gap. It makes you think, and it causes you to come closer in your friendship and in your relationship. Yes. I love a good book too, Victoria. I really do. And oh man, I have, and I'm gonna recommend these. Now these two books, y'all know about these two books. These two books are my books. The Shepherd, the Sheep, and the Sheepdog is right here, and then Emerging into Your Whole and Beautiful Life. This one right here is a devotional. Where 21 days you can change that habit and get a new habit going. This one right here is like organization, getting your life together, getting things put in order. It's called The Shepherd, the Sheep, and the Sheepdog. It's like putting things in order. Yes, get the book. Get these books. These books are awesome. They're really good books. One other book that I want to share with you tonight is I won this by watching another show that we have here on ALH Broadcasting. They it's called Authors Up, and because I was participating and because I participated in their monthly thing that they were doing where they were giving away books, this was in one of my giveaway package that I got for winning, and it's called Bug Writes a Book. And in here, this is just an awesome book because Bug loves to write stories and wanted to share the gift with others. So it's telling kids how to put together their own book and sharing with them how they can sit down and write their own book, and tells them the process, which is awesome. You need to get the book, share it with somebody. Send me an email, wholebeautiful@gmail.com. I got a lot of good reads that I want to share with you all during this month of November. So I am going to share with you a lot of different books, and I do have someone that's going to be coming on to talk about some different things too concerning just reading and getting your kids to read, getting just a family to get engaged in reading. Because before they had TV and radio and all that, they told those stories, and then they had a good book that they would read at night before they went to bed. So let's get back to reading to our children. Let's get back to reading to ourselves. Let's get back to reading to each other and making life just a little bit better, all because I decided to read a book. Guys, that's all that I have for you tonight. I hope that you will read something during this month of November, that is Family Literacy Month, that you can share with me. Send me an email, wholebeautiful@gmail.com, about the books that you read, about what it meant to you, or a good book that you're saying, hey, I want you to share that one. I want you to share that one. She says that anyone contacting me about Masters of the Mask will get another book absolutely free from now to the end of November. Now, see, if y'all contact me about getting Masters of the Mask, you're going to get another book free. You're going to get 2 for the 1. That's a great deal. Thank you, Miss A. Thank you so much. Guys, I'm telling you, you want to listen during this month, and you want to find out who's getting those extra books, and who knows, at the end, if y'all sending me an email, wholebeautiful@gmail.com, telling me about the books you're reading, telling me about what's going on, some free books should be coming your way. How about that? But until we meet again, which will be next week at 7 p.m. on Friday, I am Agela Oliphant, allowing you to see, hear, and know that whole and beautiful is not just your destination. It is most definitely your journey. Remember to read this whole entire month of November. Get with your family. Create some family time with a book. Okay? Until we meet again, guys, I love you much and have a great and prosperous and productive weekend. Good night, everybody.